am Diana Nicole with Global AZ Media, and I'm here with Danny Olliver. So I was with him in the Tempe show back in Arizona. Now we're here in San Diego. And which show is this for you? What number?
So this is the third show on the tour.
Third show on the tour.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Actually, this is his first USA tour.
Yeah.
How has it been?
So far, 3 shows in, it's been incredible. I was worried because I've played kind of everywhere else. I've only done showcasing stuff in the States so far. So this is my first actual run of shows where I'm touring around and playing shows to people instead of, festival buyers and things like that. So it's awesome.
So you're a long way from home now.
I am, yeah. Closer than you think. I currently I live in Victoria, BC, so it's not too far, John. I mean, it's ways up there, but it's still on the West Coast, which is the best coast. Yeah.
So how has it been touring with the Dead South?
The Dead South are awesome. So I grew up with the boys in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. I went to high school with 3 of them, and then met Colton later on.
Tempe, I think it's about time I introduce the band to everybody. Back here, on my right, I think he's sexy, you probably do too. Let him know what you think. It's Mr. Danny Peterson!
Actually, I played band in Regina like 7-8 years ago, and they played one of their first shows ever with my band in Regina. And then my band broke up, and of course they kept, boots to the pavement, kept going, and of course they've gotten some really great press, and they've really excelled in their genre, and they're doing so well, and they're still the same guys. So it's been awesome. Yeah.
That's great. So you were in a previous band, so you have a little bit of experience in this. What did you do in the previous band?
So I was lead vocals and guitar. Yeah.
And now you get to do it all on your own.
Yeah. I mean, I do sometimes travel with different configurations of a band depending on the tour. For the Dead South stuff, it's just a solo show, and I've gotten pretty used to it over the years. So I feel like I've developed kind of a knack for entertaining solo, and I love doing it. You can really only blame yourself, which is nice. There's no fighting. There's no infighting, and
just fighting with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm my own worst critic, so.
We are worst critics, but what I noticed when I saw you in Arizona, and I was watching the crowd, you have this way of just drawing people into you, and you may not realize this when you're up on the stage.
I mean, I've kind of always been a conversationalist. I had a short couple-year stint with stand-up comedy. Before music, I was a very business-focused person. Of course, that's all networking. I just like interacting with people. So even in a room of 2,500 people, I like to find a way to connect, and that could be does anybody have any questions, or just making jokes. And the set's different every time as far as what I say. I don't like to rehearse anything because I feel like you get a better connection that way.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just going to come naturally to you. And speaking of, you write your own songs.
I do, yeah.
How do you get the inspiration for that?
Well, I mean, that's kind of cliche, but I guess sometimes it just comes to me. I've always liked writing, whether it's creative writing or prose or anything like that. And I was a guitar player before I was a songwriter. And I guess in that sense of the word, I really just played guitar, and then I spent some more time around musicians and guitar players, and they were like, you should write songs and see if you can. And I was never really a vocalist, so I didn't start singing till well after I played my first show as just an instrumental guitarist. And so I think for me, my inspiration always comes from a melodic guitar riff, and I just kind of build on that, and then I'll put lyrics in afterwards.
You buy new shoes just to walk away. Half-price canvas you picked up the other day. But your colors never look so gray. tricks up my sleeves, and she's got class in spades. If she might ever wanna leave, I will make her stay. Oh, stay. I'm just one guy with a guitar, folks, so I gotta keep it interesting, right? My sleeves, and she's got class in spades. If she ever wanna leave, I will make her stay. Oh, stay with me. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much.
How did you get into playing the guitar?
Well, so I think I was about 8 or 9 years old, and in the back alley behind my house in Regina, Saskatchewan, there was an abandoned guitar. Somebody just left it by the trash. Had 3 strings on it, and I brought it in, this dirty old thing, and just kind of played on that for a long time. Probably, I don't know, about a year with 3-string guitar, and I managed to not break any of those 3 strings. And then I think when I finally started being able to play recognizable songs on the 3 strings, my dad was like, okay, get him another 3 strings, 6-string guitar. And then eventually he just bought me my first guitar, which is like an old Yamaha. And then from there I just played it.
So you're completely self-taught.
I am, yeah.
And I have to ask, do you still have that old guitar?
I do have that guitar. Yeah, it's beat up, but it sounds better than ever.
That's incredible. It just goes to show that, you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Truly, yeah.
And that was definitely a treasure for you.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know what would happen if I didn't find that dirty old thing in an alley. So.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have now 3 albums.
Yep.
3 full albums.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Russell Broom that helped with your current album.
Yeah, so Russell Broom helped me with my latest album, For All My Former Lovers, and he's an amazing guitarist and an amazing producer. He did a bunch of Jan Arden stuff, a ton of notable artists that he's worked with.
Oh yeah, he's award-winning.
Yeah, he's great, and he actually played guitar on my first 2 albums, just because we hired session musicians, and he was a friend of the people that I know in Calgary, Alberta, and yeah, he sat in and played some guitar on my first 2 albums, and I just kind of asked him if he'd produce the latest one, and we did it at a studio called OCL Studios in Calgary, and yeah, he's awesome to work with. Same sense of humor, we get along really well, yeah, and he's, yeah, it wouldn't happen without him really.
Because, like I said, on my drive out here from Arizona, I was listening to that album in full, and it's just so beautifully produced.
Yeah.
I mean, there were goosebumps. There was just so much. Like I felt like I could sing along to it, and when I even played it for my friend, she had started singing along with it. Like it just came naturally to her. But I have to ask. So, who is Josephine?
Okay, all right. You get the scoop on this. So on my first album, there's a song called For Hannah, and one of my friends, I won't say his name, he had this girl that he really, really liked. Her name was Hannah, and I didn't hear the end of it. He would ask her out and she'd say no, and this would happen, and I was his sounding board. So he'd be like, man, I really like this girl, I wish I could get her to go out with me, like I think I'm in love. I'm like, okay man, yeah, just keep trying, dude, go ahead, right? And eventually, persistence paid off. He asked her out, she finally said yes, and they were dating, and it was great, and then I didn't hear the end of that. And he was like, man, I'm so happy this has happened, and they did pretty well for a little while, and then she ended up moving to Vancouver during their relationship, which is, you know, all the way across the country. And then I didn't hear the end of that. He's like, man, I miss her, it's so hard doing this long distance thing. Ugh. And I was like, oh dude, sorry. And this was like 2 years, it just happened. And then they broke up. And so I ended up writing a song from his perspective for Hannah, right? And then probably about half a year after that, because all I heard was, man, oh, I'm so sad. I was so sad that relationship ended. You know the whole thing when a friend goes through a breakup, right? Yeah. And he went to Kingston, Ontario on a business trip, and he had a short stint with a girl named Josephine. And he came back, and I was like, hey man, how was your trip? And he was like, dude, it was awesome. I met this girl. It was a really great time, and I think I'm over Hannah. I was like, oh, what was her name? He said, Josephine. I was like, well, that's a great name to write a song about.
That makes sense.
So my friend and I, we actually wrote the song together.
Nice.
And that's
the
the
lyrics.
story, yeah.
The lyrics. I'll love you for tonight.
Yeah.
When the sun comes up in Kingston, I'll be gone.
Yeah.
That was. It's a beautiful song though, and then I'm like listening to lyrics. I'm like, dude, that's because it's so beautiful. And when you listen to the lyrics, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna love you only tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of draw your inspiration off of like other people's experiences, and you can tell a story with that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of everything. It's other people's experiences. It's my own. Like the newest album, For All My Former Lovers, is hilarious. I'll give you another scoop. On the front of the album, there's the names of all my ex-girlfriends, and they're scratched out. So it says 4, and then scratched out are all my ex-girlfriend's names.
I figured that because I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, there's some scratched out names on there, and
the best thing is,
oh my gosh,
there's enough of it that they will know, nobody else will.
Right, because I could not quite make it out. It's a beautiful album. I absolutely love the artwork. It's so creative, and it's crazy because nowadays people don't even use letters. Everything is done electronically, and so I actually can completely appreciate that album artwork.
There's something romantic about a handwritten letter, right?
Yeah, so do you already have any ideas for a future album?
I mean, I've been writing, and I've been doing some co-writing, and I know that I do want to create another album. I want to continue to draw this one out for as long as I can, just because I'm very proud of it. What myself and Russell and OCL and Josh Wilm, the engineer, have done with it is. I'm really proud of it, and I'm proud of them, and I want people to hear it, as many people as I can get.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great. It's literally a great album. I absolutely love it. Speaking of, where can people find this album if they cannot make it to one of your shows?
So if you can't make it to one of the shows, it's available on any digital source that you use. So Amazon, iTunes, if you want to just stream it, Spotify, Google Play, all that stuff.
Right.
So you can definitely find it.
There's something special though about having an actual album though. I myself collect albums, and it's so nice to have that in your hand. It's kind of like reading a book. You want to hold it in your hands.
Yeah.
Now, if you were not a musician, what would you be doing?
Ooh, that's something boring for sure. I know before I really got into music, I owned a franchise of a painting company. and I did business development for a training consulting company. I'd probably be somewhere in a hotel doing project management. likely, yeah. Which, I mean, I love the networking aspect of it. I love meeting new people. But right now in my life, for the last, I don't know, 6 years, this has been the path.
You have been consistent with music, because how long have you been touring?
So I've been touring for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Here and there, but it's been busy, for sure. And I guess, you know, of course, being on a gig like the Dead South tour and stuff, because they've gotten so much notoriety and stuff over the years, it's great for me. And they're really good at helping people out, which is exactly what I need right now in my career, for sure, to get my music in people's ears. So.
Absolutely. Now, who would you like to someday tour with?
Oh man. This is an easy one. This is an
Oh.
easy one. I would absolutely love to tour with a guy named Gregory Alan Isakov. That's a dream of mine. I love his music. So yeah, Gregory, if you see this,
Get on it.
yeah.
Talent right here.
Yeah.
Okay, last question then. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh man. That's probably the hardest question that you've asked so far.
Right?
I love steak. I do. I really love steak. I love
Rare?
Rare, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah. If you overcook a steak, yeah.
Blue rare.
Yeah. Blue rare, sous vide, whatever it happens to be. I love a good steak.
Nice. Now, if you want to see Danny Olliver and the Dead South on this tour, how can we find those dates?
So you can check my Instagram, my Facebook, or my website, www.dannyolliver.com, 2 L's. Or you can check the Dead South website as well, but all the dates are up there. We've got about 16 left from here all the way to Kansas City. Make sure you come say hi. I'm always out front after the shows. I'm not hiding away. Love to talk to new people, so come say hi. If you want to check out the music, like I said, any streaming platform, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, whatever you happen to have. And yeah, hope to see you out there.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
No.
Oh yeah, okay. Perfect. All right. See you.
so much for listening, San Diego.